In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make a typewriter effect text animation in Xcode. In other words, replicating someone typing out a message in real time. You could use this for a logging system such as explaining the statuses of what's going on, like logging in, or something like gathering info, which can be written out in real time to create something more engaging for the user. We're going to be using timers and random numbers so we can achieve the sensation of someone typing out a message in real time. Okay, first we're going to quickly go over the interface for this tutorial. The interface will consist of a text field where we will input our text, a button to enter and send the text, and a text field where the text we inserted into the input text field will be outputted at a random rate, letter by letter. We're also going to need to initiate some other variables such as an array that will hold text called myText and a counter, which you will see why later in the video, and of course a timer. Now I'm going to go through and create all the objects we need for the scene in the viewDidLoad function. My typewriter is going to be in the center of the view with text aligned in the middle just because I want the text to generate from the middle. And then we're going to create a green border so we are able to see the text field box and what space we have to fill with text. Then we're going to create the input, which is a text field that will be centered when it comes to the X value, but minus 200 from the center Y, to create some space for the button. And I advise not using this way to determine the position of your objects on scene if you're building your app for multiple devices. I suggest using constraints. That'll be a lot better. Then we're going to align the text in the middle because I just like having it in the middle. I don't know why. It's just a preference. And we're going to create a red border so we can see it in view. Lastly, we create the button that will be centered except for the Y value, which will be like -125. So it's in between the input and output text fields. We're also going to make the buttons border black and the background color red because that looks nice. And we're going to set some text saying enter and then add a target to the button so it sends to the function enter tapped. In the enter tapped function, we're going to clear whatever text is in my typewriter so it doesn't keep writing after what is already in the field. Then we're going to insert the input in the text array and then call the type letter function. Now here's where the real stuff is. This function is going to be able to output the letter by letter animation we want. First, we'll create an if statement that will check if the counter, my counter, is less than the text array which holds our input. If it is, we will disable our button and make it faded out with the alpha value, then add one letter to the typewriter output. Then we will create a random interval variable that will hold a random number, and we will use this variable within our timer to get the real-time typing effect. But before we call the timer, we must invalidate the timer so we get that one letter at a specified rate effect. Then we call the timer and it is going to send back to the same function it's in, so it repeats through the process until otherwise. And if the if statement is the latter result, we will disable the timer, set the counter to -1, so if we input another sentence in our input text field, it won't start at index 1, it'll start at 0, which 0 being the first letter in the text. After, we will re-enable the button and the alpha value set back to 1. And finally, outside of the if statement, we need to update the counter in increments of 1. And that's everything on how to create typewriter text animation. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this can be put into use for your future projects. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like, and I will see you in the next video.